Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the noise, find the key info, and basically give you a shortcut to understanding complex stuff. So, have you ever, flipped through a design magazine or maybe just looked around your own place and thought, I wish the space felt more me? Lots of people dream about boosting their home's beauty, its value, but what does it really take to go beyond just looks to genuinely improve the overall quality of life of you and your family with a renovation? That's quite a promise. Okay, let's unpack this. For this deep dive, we're zoning in on one specific company, JLS Remodeling Services down in Bradenton, Florida. We're using bits from their website as our guide. Now, our mission here isn't really to review them specifically. It's more about using their approach as a sort of case study. What can we pull out that defines a really great, maybe even unique remodeling experience anywhere? What lessons can we learn from their model that apply if you are thinking about a big home project?
Exactly. We're going to dissect their philosophy, their process, and figure out what makes any good remodeler stand out. We're focusing on, well, the core things that make up a unique remodeling experience. And crucially, what does being a premier remodeling company even mean? Especially when the goal is improving your daily life. We'll look at what they say and then maybe broaden out to what you, the listener, should generally be looking for.
Absolutely. So let's kick off with something that honestly jumped right out at me from their site. Remodeling is not our job, it is our passion. That's a
Yeah.
pretty bold statement for any company, right? Especially in construction, which often feels very deadline driven, very budget focused. So if you're a homeowner and you see that claim passion, what should that actually mean for your project? Is it just, good marketing, or is there something real behind it?
That's a great question. Because passion can feel a bit fuzzy, right?
Right.
Subjective. But the fascinating part is how that philosophy should ideally lead to real results for you. When a company says it's their passion, it implies, or it should imply, they're engaged on a deeper level than just ticking boxes. It suggests they genuinely care about the final product, aiming for excellence, not just because it's the job, but because they love the craft. They want you to be happy. For you, that should translate to things like meticulous attention to detail, maybe being more proactive if problems pop up, going that extra step. It's about more than just making it look nice or adding value. It points back to that idea of improving the overall quality of life. They're invested in how you live in the space. But, as a homeowner, you can't just take the word passion at face value. You've got to look for the proof. Does their past work show that extra care? What do previous clients say? How do they handle the unexpected stuff? That's where you see if the passion is real.
That makes a lot of sense. Look for the evidence, not just the claim. And it looks like JLS aims their passion pretty broadly. They mention specializing in full interior, standard luxury remodels, renovations, kitchens, baths, and additions. That covers a lot of territory. What does offering such a wide range tell us about a company? And what are the pros and cons for someone looking for, say, just a kitchen remodel?
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison point. Some companies go super deep in one niche-only kitchens, maybe only high-end bathrooms. They argue that brings unmatched expertise. JLS, on the other hand, covers everything from, standard updates to creating these one-of-a-kind luxury spaces plus additions. It suggests they're flexible and maybe have a team with diverse skills to handle basic refreshes and complex custom builds. For you, the homeowner, a company with this kind of scope can be great, especially for larger projects. Think multiple rooms or an addition where you want everything to feel connected, designed together. One point of contact. It can simplify things, having one company manage a cohesive vision across different parts of the house. The potential flip side, though, is you'd want to make sure their broad expertise doesn't mean they're spread too thin in any one area. You still want mastery. But if a company like JLS can show strong examples across all these categories through their portfolio, client feedback, then it points to a really versatile, deep engagement with different client needs. They apply that same dedication, whether it's standard or luxury. It's really about matching the company's scope to the complexity of your specific project.
Okay, moving on from passion and scope, let's talk about actually making those dream spaces happen. I was really struck by their focus on design build services. You hear that term a lot. But for someone actually planning a renovation, what does design build practically mean? How's it different from the old way?
What's fascinating here is that design build isn't just jargon. It's a pretty different way of managing a project. Traditionally, maybe you'd hire an architect first, get plans drawn up, then take those plans and shop them around to different contractors for bids. With design build, one company, in this case, JLS, handles both the design and the construction, start to finish. They say they work directly with our clients, ensuring that every detail is carefully planned and constructed. One team, one contract. The main benefits for you, the client. Usually, it's more efficient. Communication is simpler because everyone's under one roof. And often, the budget is more integrated. The builders are thinking about costs right from the initial design phase. This can cut down on those nasty surprise costs or delays that happen when separate design and build teams aren't quite synced up. Now, you could argue that having separate designer and builder provides more checks and balances. That's fair. But a good design build firm usually has internal processes to ensure quality on both sides, maybe separate design and construction leads who collaborate closely.
Yeah, that single point of responsibility, that sounds really appealing. Less finger pointing if something goes sideways. But even with design build, how do you really know what it's going to look like? Before the walls come down, it's a big worry, right? Visualizing it, it's a common source of stress for homeowners. You hear about change orders because the reality didn't match the picture in their head.
This raises an important question, definitely. And this is where technology really becomes a game changer. JLS mentions their in-house CAD 3D design service. That's not just a fancy add-on. It's a crucial tool for managing expectations and avoiding those expensive misunderstandings. Sure, lots of companies offer floor plans, 2D drawings, but 3D modeling, that's a whole other level. It lets customers visualize and fall in love with the finished product prior to commencement. They stress that this ensures every detail is precisely thought out, planned, and executed. So for you, this means you can basically do a virtual walkthrough. See your new kitchen, your bathroom, see how the materials look together. You can even tweak layouts or finishes before construction starts. That helps you feel way more confident in your choices early on. It cuts down on rework, saves time, saves money, and the in-house part is key too. It suggests that the designers and builders are talking constantly, keeping that vision consistent from the screen to the actual build.
That sounds incredibly helpful, especially being able to play with the design first. It really drives home that idea of making sure each and every project is tailor-fit to suit each client's specific needs, not just some cookie-cutter approach. Okay, here's where things get really interesting, and maybe a little nerve-wracking for homeowners. Trust. When you're planning a big project, trust is just everything. You're letting people into your home, spending a lot of money, messing with your personal space. So what credentials does JLS put forward to build that trust? And maybe more broadly, what should any homeowner be checking when they vet a remodeler?
Well, critically, they don't just talk about trust. They list concrete things you can check. That's vital. They mention 20-plus years of experience. Now, when you see that, it's good to clarify, is that how long the company's been open or the combined experience of the main people. They also clearly state they're a state-certified, licensed, and insured general contractor. And they give the license number, CRC 1333677. That trio, licensed, certified, insured, is absolutely non-negotiable. You must verify this for any contractor. Licensed means they meet state rules. Certified often means extra testing or qualifications. Insured protects you and them if there's an accident or damage. Always ask to see their insurance certificate. They also say they've been in business since 2011. Combined with a 20-plus years experience claim, it suggests an established company built on deep expertise from its team members. And the fact they serve a specific local area, Bradenton, Sarasota, Manatee County, and Area Island, usually means they know the local rules, have local supplier connections, and are physically accessible if issues arise later.
Right. Having that license number right there, the start date, that gives you something solid to verify. That's huge. But okay, beyond the licenses and history, what about guarantees? Once the work is done, what practical assurance do you get? This feels like where the rubber meets the road.
This raises an important question, definitely. It's about long-term reassurance, which is a big deal for such a large investment. JLS specifically offers a 2-year craftsmanship warranty on all projects. Now, warranties in remodeling, they can be all over the map. Some are shorter, some longer. What's covered can vary a lot, too. A 2-year warranty on the actual workmanship is generally seen as pretty strong. It means they back the quality of their installation and construction for a good chunk of time after they leave. If something fails because of how they built it, they should fix it. For you, the homeowner, the key is to understand exactly what craftsmanship covers in that warranty. Does it include materials failing or just how things were put together? What's the claim process like? But offering a clear multi-year warranty like this, it signals they're confident in their work and they plan to stick around to stand behind it. It adds a critical layer of security. Always read the fine print, though, and maybe see what's standard for your type of project.
That definitely backs up their claims about high-quality craftsmanship and exceptionally high standards. It gives it some teeth. But how do you, as a homeowner, really figure out if a company lives up to those standards day to day beyond just the website promises?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, technical skill and warranties are just part of it, right? The actual experience of going through the renovation can be just as important as the finished room. JLS talks about unrivaled customer service. Okay, nice phrase, but they try to define it. Clear and consistent communication, above industry standards of high-quality craftsmanship, and most importantly, integrity, honor, and transparency. Those are big words. What do they mean practically? Clear and consistent communication. That means regular updates, answering your calls, managing your expectations. So many renovation horror stories start with bad communication. Integrity, honor, transparency. That's about being straight with pricing, realistic about timelines, owning up to problems if they happen. This whole package suggests they're focused on the entire client journey, trying to minimize the stress that often comes with remodeling. As a homeowner vetting any company, you should look for proof of these things. How do they communicate during the first call? What do detailed reviews say about the process, not just the outcome?
It really sounds like they're aiming for a different vibe, a type of customer care that tries to capture our customers' vision, dreams, and deliver a finished project that exceeds expectations. It's not just about hitting the requirements, it's about making that dream, maybe something you've pictured for years, actually happen smoothly.
Exactly. And the really good companies, they don't just disappear when the formal check clears. JLS even invites feedback publicly, saying, your feedback helps us to improve and helps others make informed decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Being open about wanting reviews, valuing them, that suggests confidence and a desire to keep getting better. For you, this means you should actively look for those reviews on Google, Yelp, Who's, whatever platforms are relevant. Don't just rely on testimonials cherry-picked for their website. Look for patterns. Do people consistently praise the communication? Or are there recurring complaints? And importantly, how does the company respond to criticism? That can tell you a lot.
Okay, so let's say someone listening is getting excited, maybe thinking about that luxury remodel, or finally getting the kitchen remodel to host big dinners, or creating that spa-like bathroom remodel oasis. They're picturing the transformation. What's the first practical step? How do you start the conversation with JLS, or really any reputable remodeler? Well, according to their site, you've got two main options. Call them directly at 941-841-0001 or fill out an online form. They promise a representative will get back to you within 24 hours. It's pretty good responsiveness for an initial contact. Quick communication right from the start is often a good sign, suggests they're organized and value your time. Sets a good tone. Now, on that form, they ask for a couple of specific things. Your estimated budget and how did you hear about us? That budget question. Sometimes that can feel a bit awkward or like you're showing your cards too early. Why is that info so important for them and how should you approach it?
Yeah, those questions are really useful for both sides, actually. And being open about budget, at least a range, is usually best. Giving an estimated budget isn't about getting locked in right away. It helps them tailor recommendations and proposals to best align with your financial goals. Think about it. Without some idea of your budget, they're just guessing. They might propose something way too expensive, or maybe something too basic for what you really want. It helps them guide the design and suggest the most suitable options and solutions for your specific situation. It saves everyone time by focusing on realistic possibilities. For you, providing a realistic range helps them design more effectively right from the start. And asking, how did you hear about us? It's pretty standard. It helps them figure out if their marketing is working. Just practical business stuff for them. Helps them connect with future clients. Shows they're thinking about growth.
That makes total sense. It's about efficiency and making sure everyone's kind of on the same page from the beginning. Good to know. And just for practical planning, their business hours are listed. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., closed weekends. Also, interesting detail. Showroom visits are by appointment only. What do these little details maybe tell us about how they operate?
Those logistics, yeah, they might seem small, but they offer clues. Set business hours suggest structure, maybe a focus on managing projects efficiently during the week, respecting team work-life balance, perhaps. And the by-appointment-only showroom. That reinforces it. They're likely not set up like a retail store where people just wander in.
Yeah.
It means when you do go, you probably get their focused, dedicated attention. They want to have a real conversation, understand your project, show you relevant things. It allows for more personalized consultation instead of just a quick sales pitch while they're helping others. Signals they value that focused client interaction.
So wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive mean for you, the listener, as you think about your own home projects, whether it's a huge overhaul or just one room? We've used JLS Remodeling Services as our example, looking at how they approach things, mixing passion with detailed design build, using 3D visualization, backing it up with licenses and insurance, and focusing hard on communication and integrity.
Exactly. Things like that upfront 3D visualization, the clear commitment to transparency, that solid 2-year craftsmanship warranty, these stand out as really key ways to build trust. They help manage expectations for what's usually a pretty big personal investment, a home remodel. These aren't just nice features, they're almost like safeguards for your sanity and your wallet. When you're evaluating any remodeler, you should be actively looking for these kinds of assurances. Check their credentials, see how they communicate, understand their warranty. It all adds up.
And for your own reflection, here's something to chew on as we finish up. When you imagine undertaking a project that's going to transform the space you live in every day, what parts of a company's promise really matter most to you? Is it seeing that 3D rendering first? Is it the length of the warranty? Is it their communication style? Or maybe it's how genuine that passion feels, thinking about what gives you confidence and peace of mind up front. That can make all the difference between a stressful ordeal and turning your renovation dream into a reality you love.